Hello and welcome to On the Move. We are Matt and Betsy, and today you can see we've opened up the closet.
We've opened up the doors.
We're going to talk a little. Betsy's going to give one of her Betsy's Corner updates.
And we are in Betsy's Corner.
Yes. And we're going to talk a little bit about an event that happened this past weekend called Fill Your Boots. But first, I'm going to tell you a story.
Once upon a time. Oh wait, no, okay.
No, this is more like the series of unfortunate events.
Oh yes.
It doesn't happen to me too often.
No,
but
not very often. Your life usually rolls fairly well for you, or if not, you roll with the punches it throws.
I try to roll with it.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it to school last Friday, and for me that's unusual. With COVID, I mean, we're staying away from school anytime we're feeling sick, so that's even a little different. But usually I have to be dying if I'm not going to school. So my students were wondering where was I? I teach right down to kindergartners, so they're always very inquisitive, not afraid to ask questions.
No.
And so I don't tell them the whole story. It would take too long and they would just ask more questions. But I tell them, well, it all started with a rattle in my car.
On Thursday evening.
Thursday evening, I'm coming home and I drive a fair bit, so I try to pay attention to the car, and it was progressively starting to rattle more and more underneath of it. So I called a mechanic that I drive by every day on the way home, and he said, well, if you can drop it off, leave it with us for the day tomorrow, we'll fit it in, we'll figure it out for you. And I figured, well, I can't be down in my car all that long. So I thought, well, I'll leave it with them. Called Betsy. She came and got me at the place. It's called Duffy's. It's a mechanic shop right on, as Betsy was saying, the Trans-Canada Highway.
I got a phone call. I'm going to interrupt your evening if it's okay. Can you come and get me? Yeah. I found him on the highway. No, he was at the shop.
Yeah. So the plan was the next day, Friday morning, I'd get up and I would take the truck to work instead, and you would be vehicle-less.
Yeah, I'd have survived. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Got up in the morning, went to start the truck, and we have had some intermittent, unknown trouble with the truck just not starting. Turn the key, it might click, or you get all the electrical panel goes on, doesn't look like it's a battery, but nothing.
We did have it into a dealership to have a look at it, but when we took it in, it decided it would start and it was fine. So it's pretty hard for them to diagnose what's wrong when nothing is wrong at that current moment.
Yeah, it was starting at that point.
Yeah.
So they couldn't help us. They didn't figure anything out. And so Friday morning, it's 6:20 in the morning. Oh no, yeah, I forgot first.
That's right.
So I
6:20 in the morning.
I have an alarm on my phone.
You're supposed to be leaving.
Yeah, an alarm on my phone that wakes me up each morning. Well, my phone wasn't plugged in properly. It died in the middle of the night.
So I woke up. It's starting to look light out, and I'm thinking, he hasn't moved yet. He's still here. He's often gone when I wake up. And so I rolled over and looked at my phone, and Matthew, it says 6:19. Which he's usually headed out the door about 6:20.
Yeah, 6:20. I'm headed out the door, but I hustled. I got myself ready.
You were ready to go. And
pared it down, and so 6:30, about 6:33, I'm walking out the door. Nothing.
And then I heard the door go again. And I thought, he's coming back in. Oh no, the truck didn't start.
I'm like, what do? I have no working vehicles here, so I try to find a substitute for myself for the day. But I haven't used the substitute system other than once this entire year, and this is my first year teaching on this system, so I couldn't remember how to get on to the system to request a substitute. I talked to two teachers that I knew, neither one, of course, it's the morning of, you're highly unlikely to find someone yourself.
And you're supposed to have that in by 7 a.m.
Yeah,
so we're getting
the clock is ticking. I got like 20
now.
minutes at this point to get it in. And I can't get into the system, so I try. Well, I think I have my code in my email somewhere, buried in my email. So I go to get on my email. The email server is down. I can't even access my email. So now I'm getting really flustered, and my last resort is I text my vice principal. I know that I have her phone number, so I text her and say, I'm having a crazy morning, and ultimately she
Saved
was
the day.
very good about it. She just said, "I'll put it in the system. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
So
So you did end up with a
I did end up
covering
with a
teacher.
covering teacher,
Yeah.
and I spent the next hour until 8 o'clock putting a plan together for
Yeah.
that teacher. And by 8:15 in the morning, the email system came back online, so I was able to email that to her. So I just kind of sat around awkwardly for the day, even when I.
Well, then I told you, okay, truck's not starting. You need to call CAA
Oh yeah.
and call Duffy's to ask and get laughed at. I'm sure when you tell them that, can you please have a tow truck drop off your truck, and then you'll pick up your car.
Car at the same time. Yeah.
So we set that all up.
Which they were not. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Leave
Yeah,
it
no
with us. No
problem.
problem.
So we waited because they'll call you when the car. They said they'd call when the car was ready. So we waited. They called to tell us the car was ready. I said to Matthew, "You better go try the truck one more time before we call CAA." And lo and behold, on she turns, and that's. So we just took the truck, and off we went. Now Duffy's gave us some hints about what might be wrong with the truck.
We hadn't had anyone offer any really good ideas up till that point, but the mechanic there did give two real possible viable solutions.
Ultimately, coming down to it probably has to do with some of the extreme cold and the wind.
Yeah.
So when we leave it in the wind, when the wind can blow right into the engine.
Yeah, and it was like minus 16 without the wind chill that morning.
Exactly.
So we thought, well, maybe this is it. There's something frozen, like water condensation, right on where the contact is for the starter. I don't understand mechanics, but that was the basic part of it. And so that might be it, and maybe a way to fix it, and maybe So we're hoping it just doesn't happen again. But if it does, we have some ideas, and hopefully the other car won't also be in the shop
at the same time. Like, what are the chances? We've never owned two vehicles in our life, and now we're thinking, oh, no big deal. We've got two. We'll be fine. And they both decide not to start one morning.
It's not often I feel helpless and out of ideas, but Friday morning was one of those mornings.
All in all, it all worked out. Everything was fine in the end. Just left you a little flustered and kerbumbled.
So now that we've talked about my kerbumbling, let's talk about your success.
Oh, okay. So we thought we'd do a bit of a Betsy's Corner update. I do continue to make and create pretty much all the time. I know I had shown you in the summer a couple of those gnome tapestries or cross-stitch embroidery things I'm working on, and I am still working on them, but they are kind of a summer project. When winter rolls in and wool is more fun to work with, it's just more cozy feeling to make wool things.
And it's warmer too.
It's warmer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you work with it on your lap, right?
So I will, yes, work with it on my lap. So I will come back to those, and I will show you hopefully someday when they're done. But we're not there yet. So lately, it's been, some of these are old friends that have been around for a while, and you've probably seen a few of them already in the past. But the latest is my little bulldog here. I don't know if he can come down without knocking everything down. So he doesn't have a name yet. Inspired by the girls' school that they go to is the bulldog is their mascot at the consolidated school. So I decided, and green and white, I believe, are their colors.
Yeah.
So that's why he's made out of green and white. Nice slow motion turn there. So I worked on him for quite a while, finally got him finished up. He was exciting. I have done this one before for my sister in blue and gray. So he wasn't, there was no real adventures along the way doing him because I've done it before and I knew what I was doing. So he was just fun to work away at. You make it in the patches and then
how many patches did you make that you didn't need to make?
Oh, that's true. Actually, in the end, only 3.
Oh.
I am wondering if when I made it for my sister, I may have made the ears incorrectly. So anyway, it still ended up looking cute and she loves it, so that's fine. But so there wasn't as many as I thought. I think I only had 3 left over, and I've set them aside because they may come in handy for a project in the future when I maybe make something like this, but I want to do multicolored. Mm-hmm. I'll just use them then. So he was part of my making adventure. I have finished a sweater for our youngest. Some of you may have seen that on Instagram if you're on Instagram. I don't have it with me. She wears it all the time, so she has it right now. And my latest adventure that was fun is I've made a knitted critter, which I've never done before. So this is a little badger, and I think he's super cute. I just want to snuggle with him. So he is actually made out of wool, which all of these are out of cotton. So This was a little different. It's a softer structure. I make it a bit squishier, and he's gonna have a sweater and pants eventually.
The
So
outfits are what really make these
really
things.
made. I think he's pretty cute as is. But yes, he'll have a little sweater. He's a little bit confident look. He's got his shoulders back and his head up high. But yeah, so that, and is there anything else? I'm trying to think if I've forgotten something. I'm working on
You're working on a vest.
a vest design.
Yeah.
I should say hiker's vest.
Yeah.
When you say knitted vest, I don't want you to think like the V-neck pullover vest. Although there's nothing.
No, it's like more like outerwear kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, it's a hiking vest,
Mhm.
like a zippered
Yeah,
vest.
you'd been given some wool for Christmas.
By you.
Yeah. And so you thought you would try
Yeah,
it.
I wanted to try my own design.
Mhm.
So it's a bit of an adventure because I'm sort of making it up as I go. But so far, it's turning out okay. So I'll show it eventually,
Yeah,
or I'll
I'll
wear it
show it off.
eventually in our cooler basement when we video this. So yeah, so I continue to make and create all the time. I have a couple of different ideas up my sleeve. Knitting is a slow craft. So I often have way more ideas than I can actually produce.
She
So-
says slow craft, but you are producing things pretty quickly.
Oh,
these
well,
days.
I have time to do it. Not everyone has as many hours
That's
a day
true.
to dedicate towards it, but I do purposely dedicate time to knitting. In between drywall patching ceilings, not my favorite job. Oy,
Not
sanding
that we put holes in there, you know.
purposely. No,
Yeah.
we're still continuing to recover
Yeah.
things prior to us owning the house, things that have happened since we've owned the house that weren't necessarily on purpose. But anyway, drywalling ceilings is not fun because when you sand it, it's all coming down on you, and especially if the furnace turns on while you're sanding and suddenly you have like an updraft. Oh, it just goes everywhere. So I wake up in the morning, I cover that area with all kinds of blankets to protect furniture and whatever else, and then I go to sanding, and then I vacuum for a good long while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some friends over on the weekend, which is nice now that things are opening
Yes,
up a
things are
little bit
opening up
more.
a bit. Yep.
But we had to vacuum everything.
Everything.
Just
And
so that our guests wouldn't walk away with
drywall dust. And we'll have to do it again because until like you might think, oh, this is the smallest little bit, it's no big deal, it'll just fall in once. No, it somehow
goes
just drifts
everywhere.
and spreads.
Yeah.
And you have to
even
give
that
time
stuff
to
they
settle.
talk about the stuff that like is
The
supposed
dust
to
list?
fall. Yeah.
No, it's still. Anyway, so we continue to patch and clean and patch and patch and clean.
But we took a break from that on
We
Saturday.
did. Speaking of the weekend.
We found out that 5 farms in PEI were offering an event called Fill Your Boots, which could be literal or figurative depending on how you wanted to take it. I think we should back up though and explain some history though first.
Yes,
on it.
probably about what's going on with the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last October 2021, potato wart, it's a fungus, was found in a couple of fields here in PEI. And it's not something that's life-threatening to people.
No, the
No.
potato is still edible.
But it makes it unsightly, and it reduces the crop yields, and it doesn't work for all sorts of products that we generally turn potatoes into. So it's a fairly big deal, and the Canadian government decided that they were going to suspend our export of potatoes to the United States because of this, so that the U.S. wouldn't go outright ban them. It was sort of a proactive response. And it's been a bit controversial.
Yeah, it's been controversial and it's been difficult.
Yeah, it's been very tough on
Yeah.
families. Potatoes are
Especially
a big export for
the
PEI.
growers of potatoes.
Yeah. So it's been stressful, and financially it's been stressful too.
Yes.
So that's been going on all winter basically. So there have been a couple of sort of ups and down points. Puerto Rico has opened up, I think as of the beginning of February, they opened up to accepting potatoes because they don't grow their own at all.
No.
So there was no risk of getting potato wart into their supply there. There were just some extra restrictions they had to put in place. And I guess there are normally some precautions and protocols put in place because potato wart is a known thing. I guess it showed up here on Prince Edward Island in about the early 2000s for the first time. So they do have protocols in place, which is part of the arguments against why do we need to
Yeah.
suspend things. And anyways, what they decided is to help sort of people like ourselves understand it a little more, and also to give back, because a lot of people in the area have been helping out however they can
Yeah.
with the potato farmers.
Well, and there's a large excess of potatoes here
Potatoes.
now
Yeah.
on the island.
Yeah, they talk millions of pounds of potatoes
Mm-hmm.
that are going to not be usable this year. And so they wanted to be, people to understand exactly what this is. So 5 farms opened up their doors and let people in. And one is very close to us, actually.
And you
Vissers
say
and
farms,
Sons.
but like when we went in there, I mean,
Well,
I was picturing like a potato storage area. I didn't realize how much actual
yeah.
sort of like processing
Yeah,
happens.
it's a
Is
production
processing, is that the
facility.
word?
Yeah, I think so.
Processing happens to a potato, not to change it from a potato, but just to take it from this
Yeah.
dirty little, what is it, part of the tube? I forget what kind of family it's part of.
Tuber?
Tuber or something.
Yeah.
Tuber, for this little lump that comes out of the ground to turn it into the edible thing.
And then they package it in several different ways for
Yeah.
several different products. At least Vissers and Sons is where
Yes,
we
where we
went. They're in Orwell Cove,
Yep.
close to us. So we went there, and they actually offered tours. You could
Yeah,
tour their
so we went
facility.
on a tour, which was
Mhm.
fun to go up and over all the machinery.
Through the catwalks and
Yeah.
things, up and down ladders and stuff, and no guards on things.
But everyone was
Oh
fine.
no, yes.
It was all
Yeah.
safe in the end.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
all
And it was
good.
great,
Yeah.
great to see.
So like they were showing us right from the process of it coming out of a truck. So once it would arrive at their facility, we saw it all happen coming out of the field from our backyard. So then basically we got to see the truck pulls in, and then the cleaning process, the little bumps it goes over to knock off the dirt. And
Yeah. The gentleman, one of the farmers there, one of the Vissers, was telling us a little bit about it, and that there's a lot of conveyor belt work where things go and move, and they just a
because
little
we
bit of
told you earlier about not dropping your potatoes.
yeah. So they do a lot of rolling and cleaning and things,
Yeah.
and very small drops that they
Yep.
do, and even their bagging system is designed so that the potatoes go in, and then as it fills, the bag drops down and gets
Or
bigger.
lowers, yeah.
Yeah, lowers
never
down
drops,
rather than
lowers.
the potato dropping
Yeah.
down into
Yeah.
it. So that was neat.
So it was
And
great.
actually, even getting to talk to him, he asked who we were and where we are, and we explained where we live, and they contracted potatoes
Out behind us.
right out behind us.
So we actually saw probably those potatoes come out of the field behind
yeah.
us.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just fun to really truly see from roots to like this packaged bag of potatoes. Was neat for both us and also our girls who just have not had the same connection to the land and understanding of where your food comes from. As much as Matthew and I have, just that's our family history and our past, so we just have a better understanding of that.
Yeah.
So
So when we were done with the tour, we went and we lined up to actually fill up our boots with potatoes. Not actually, although we saw some kids. We saw a
kid with a rubber boot
full of potatoes. That was fun.
He filled his boot.
No, we brought a Rubbermaid
They
container.
said bring bins or bags or whatever you'd like.
Yeah, there were lots of people with bags there.
We were able to take home
Yeah,
potatoes.
lined up, and then and there was a potato mascot there, which our girls.
Which was a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Our girls have reached an age where they saw the potato mascot and the reaction was to back off, as opposed to when they were little and sweet and they would run up to any mascot they saw and want a picture with them.
Yeah, give them hugs.
Give them hugs and no.
Yeah.
So I got a picture with the mascot.
Yeah.
She wouldn't make the mascot feel bad.
I know, he's just standing there.
Yeah.
And so then from there we actually got to where the potatoes were, and you could see the mountain.
A mountain
of potatoes there.
Yeah.
And we took our small portion of it and brought it home.
Yeah. And I made mashed potatoes the very next night.
And I think some potato soups in the future.
Yes,
too.
I'm hoping so. I just have to buckle down and do it. But all in all, it was just a neat experience to see how this process happens. We understand it isn't under the best circumstances. I'm not sure exactly all of the care that will be happening for the farmers and their families and the producers. We are not connected close enough to that to know exactly what will be going on and happen there. But we definitely wish and pray that it's something that will be solved and not go forward into next year.
Yeah, looking forward to
a healthy crop.
A healthy crop,
Yeah.
a new season, bright future for those here, because it's definitely a part of the important culture
Mm-hmm.
for them and
Yeah.
industry. And now we're a part of that, so we want to see our community thrive.
Prosper. Yeah,
Hmm.
for sure.
So take care. We hope you're well, and we'll see you again in another couple of weeks.
Bye bye.